Introducing the NutraPlanet News with Jasmine and Bradley.
Welcome to the NutraPlanet News. What if I told you there's a food so powerful that a US president tried to ban it from the entire country? Or that McDonald's once tried to turn it into bubblegum? How about a food that creates an actual chemical explosion in your mouth every time you bite into it? We're talking about broccoli. And before you roll your eyes, stick with us, because everything you think you know about this vegetable is about to change. Today, you're going to discover why a president declared war on broccoli and how it backfired spectacularly. You'll learn the hidden science behind why broccoli actually deserves a spot on your plate. And yes, we'll tell you about McDonald's bizarre bubblegum experiment that failed in the most hilarious way possible. But first, we need to take you back 2,000 years to where this whole story begins. Broccoli has a history so wild, it almost sounds made up, but every word of this is true. Picture ancient Rome, a golden dining hall, marble columns, and sitting at the emperor's table is his son, Drusus Caesar. For one entire month, he ate nothing but broccoli. No pasta, no meat, no dessert, just broccoli, meal after meal after meal. Now you might think, that's torture. But here's the twist. Drusus chose this because Romans believed broccoli could cleanse your body and sharpen your mind. They saw it as power food, and Drusus was willing to prove it. But broccoli almost stayed Rome's secret. For hundreds of years, it grew only in Italy. Most of the world had never even heard of it.
So how did it escape?
Great question. 1533, an Italian noblewoman named Caterina de' Medici married the King of France. When she moved to her new palace, she brought chefs, artwork, and her favorite vegetable, broccoli. Suddenly, French royalty is eating what they called Italian asparagus at fancy dinner parties. Broccoli had crossed its first border. Then it jumped the Atlantic Ocean. Thomas Jefferson, yes, that Thomas Jefferson, planted broccoli seeds in his garden at Monticello. But even with a founding father growing it, Americans weren't interested. Most had never tried it and didn't want to. Everything changed in the 1920s with two Italian brothers, Stefano and Andrea D'Arrigo. They had a vision. What if people across America could eat fresh broccoli, even if they lived thousands of miles from where it grew? So they packed broccoli in ice, loaded it onto refrigerated train cars, and shipped it from California to New York. That's when America finally met broccoli, and we fell hard. Today, we grow over 2 billion pounds every single year. From an emperor's table to your school lunch tray, that's broccoli's journey across 2,000 years.
Welcome back to the NutraPlanet News. Before the break, we left you with a question. What were the Romans seeing that made them so obsessed with broccoli? Turns out, they were onto something huge. Because when you eat broccoli, you're not just eating a vegetable, you're triggering a scientific reaction that happens nowhere else in nature. Let me break it down. When broccoli is growing, it stores two separate chemicals in different parts of its cells. These chemicals never touch each other. They're like two ingredients sitting in different cabinets, waiting. Then you take a bite. Your teeth break open those cells. The chemicals spill out and mix together for the first time. And in that moment, right there in your mouth, they create a brand new compound called sulforaphane. Scientists call this the mustard oil bomb. Your mouth literally becomes a chemistry lab, creating a protective compound that researchers believe helps shield your cells from damage. Every single bite triggers this explosion of chemistry. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. 1 cup of broccoli gives you more vitamin C than you need for an entire day. That's the vitamin that helps cuts heal faster and keeps your skin healthy. It also loads you up with vitamin K, essential for strong bones and helping your blood clot when you get injured. Then there's fiber. That's what keeps your digestive system running smoothly and helps you feel full after meals. Broccoli's packed with it. And here's something most people don't realize. Broccoli is 90% water. So while it's delivering all these nutrients, it's also keeping you hydrated. Walking into the produce section can feel overwhelming. You've got dozens of broccoli crowns staring back at you. So, how do you pick the winner? First, look at the florets, those tiny treetop parts. They should be tightly packed together and dark green. If they're starting to spread apart or turn yellow, that broccoli's been sitting there too long. Those are signs it's past its prime. Next, check the stems. Pick up the broccoli and give the stem a gentle squeeze. It should feel firm and solid, like it could snap if you bent it too hard. If it feels soft or bendy, put it back. That's a sign it's losing freshness. Here's my secret weapon. Smell it. I know that sounds weird, but fresh broccoli has this clean, earthy smell. If it smells sour or just off in any way, trust your nose and walk away. 3 simple checks: tight florets, firm stems, fresh smell. Do that and you're walking out with the best broccoli in the store.
When I was about 8 years old, my grandma used to make this huge pot of broccoli and cheddar soup every Sunday. I remember sitting at her kitchen counter, watching her chop the broccoli into tiny pieces, toss it into the pot with milk and cheese, and stir it until it turned into this creamy, warm bowl of comfort. I didn't think of it as eating vegetables back then. I just thought of it as grandma's soup. Looking back now, I realized she was teaching me something important. Healthy food doesn't have to feel like a chore. It can taste delicious and something you actually look forward to. That's what I want you to understand about broccoli. It's not about forcing yourself to eat something you hate. It's about finding the way that works for you. You can roast it in the oven until the edges get crispy and almost burnt. That's when it gets sweet and crunchy. You can steam it and cover it with cheese sauce. You can chop it up raw and dip it in ranch or hummus. You can toss it in pasta or throw it on pizza. When it roasts in the oven with cheese, it gets this amazing flavor that surprises people every time. And if you're feeling adventurous, because this sounds crazy to most people, you can even blend it into a smoothie with fruit. I promise you won't taste it.
Wait just a minute there now, Jasmine. I like to think of myself as an adventurous guy, but broccoli in a smoothie?
Trust me, the fruit masks it completely, but you're still getting all those nutrients. Here's how. Grab a handful of frozen broccoli florets, toss them in a blender with a banana, some frozen mango or pineapple, a splash of orange juice or milk, and blend it all up. The banana makes it creamy, the tropical fruit covers the broccoli flavor, and you've got yourself a power smoothie that tastes amazing. Now, if you want to try something new this week, we've got an incredible recipe for cheesy broccoli power bites. They're like tater tots, but made with broccoli and cheese. Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. You can find this recipe and tons more in your NutraPlanet Gazette. Grab one in your school cafeteria. Because at the end of the day, food tastes better when you make it with people you care about. When you cook with family or friends, you're not just making food, you're making memories.
But not everyone has always felt that way about broccoli. In fact, back in 1990, the most powerful person in America tried to destroy broccoli's reputation completely. March 1990. The White House press room is packed with reporters and cameras. President George H.W. Bush steps up to the microphone, and he says something that shocks the entire nation. I do not like broccoli, and I'm not going to eat any more of it. Now, presidents say things all the time, but this wasn't just an offhand comment. The president doubled down. He banned broccoli from Air Force One, his private presidential plane. He told the White House chefs to never serve it to him again. He basically declared war on a vegetable. Think about what that means for a second. You're the leader of the free world. You have the power to move armies, pass laws, change history, and you use that power to ban a vegetable. News outlets went crazy. Late-night comedians had a field day. Saturday Night Live did sketches about it. Parents across America were watching their kids say, "If the president doesn't have to eat broccoli, why do I?" It was chaos. And sitting out in California, thousands of broccoli farmers watched this unfold on TV. They'd spent their entire lives growing broccoli. They'd built family businesses around it. And now the President of the United States was telling the world that their crop was so terrible, he'd rather ban it than eat it.
So what did they do?
They organized a rebellion. These farmers gathered 10 tons of broccoli. That's 20,000 pounds. Loaded it onto trucks and shipped it straight to the White House gates. They sent a message. Mr. President, you can call broccoli disgusting all you want, but we know it's delicious, nutritious, and deserves respect. The media ate it up. News cameras caught footage of trucks rolling up with mountains of broccoli. Headlines screamed, "Broccoli farmers strike back!" Talk shows debated it. Suddenly, everyone in America was talking about broccoli. The farmers donated most of that broccoli to food banks and homeless shelters. So even though the president rejected it, people who needed food got fed. The farmers turned the president's rejection into something good. But here's where it gets wild. The president thought his announcement would make broccoli less popular. Instead, the exact opposite happened. Americans got curious. They started asking, what's so special about broccoli that it caused this much drama? They tried it for themselves. They experimented with recipes. They served it at dinner parties as a joke, then realized they actually liked it. Broccoli sales exploded. In the years after President Bush's ban, broccoli consumption in America went up by 950%. Think about that. Almost 10 times more people eating broccoli because the president said he wouldn't. And you know what? Today, you can't escape broccoli even if you wanted to. Walk into any restaurant. It's on the menu. Check your school cafeteria. It's on your tray. Open your fridge at home. Someone probably bought some this week. You'll find it in stir-fries, pasta dishes, salads, soups, and casseroles. It's in frozen dinners and on pizza. It's everywhere. The president tried to kill broccoli's reputation. Instead, he made it more popular than it had ever been. That's the power of standing up for what you believe in, even if you're just a vegetable farmer going up against the most powerful person in the world.
Wow, that's crazy! I'm actually impressed and inspired.
It really is. And speaking of inspiration, we've got some incredible music keeping this show moving. Every soundtrack you're hearing right now, that's NutraBeats, original music created just for NutraPlanet. You can listen to NutraBeats Radio anytime, anywhere. Check it out after the show. But first, we've saved some of the wildest broccoli facts for last. You've stuck with us through history, science, presidential drama, and everything in between. Now it's time for the payoff. The facts that sound too weird to be true, but absolutely are. These are the stories that'll make you look at broccoli completely differently. The kind of facts you'll want to share at lunch tomorrow. Ready? The world's largest broccoli ever grown weighed 35 pounds. That's heavier than most 2-year-olds. Imagine trying to fit that in your fridge.
How is that even possible?
Perfect conditions, perfect soil, and a farmer who really, really loved broccoli. Here's another one that stops people every time. Broccoli doesn't exist in nature. It never grew wild anywhere on Earth. Humans created it by carefully breeding wild cabbage plants over hundreds of years. We literally invented broccoli, which means somewhere, thousands of years ago, someone looked at a cabbage and thought, what if we could make this better? And generation after generation of farmers worked on it until they created the broccoli we know today. Now, this last one is my personal favorite. In the early 2000s, McDonald's wanted to get kids to eat more vegetables. So their food scientists came up with what they thought was a brilliant idea: bubblegum-flavored broccoli. I'm completely serious. They developed broccoli that tasted like bubblegum, thinking kids would love it. But when they tested it, kids were confused and hated it. Because broccoli that tastes like candy just feels wrong. Sometimes the real flavor is the best flavor. You don't need to trick your taste buds, you just need to find the right way to prepare it.
We've traveled from ancient Rome to modern America. We've watched emperors eat only broccoli for a month. We've seen presidents try to ban it and farmers fight back. We've learned about chemical explosions happening in our mouths and 35-pound vegetables that shouldn't exist. But here's what I really want you to take away from all of this. Food is more than just fuel. It's more than just something you put on your plate because someone told you to. Every time you choose what to eat, you're making a decision about how you want to treat yourself. When my grandma made that broccoli soup every week, she was taught me that taking care of your body doesn't have to be difficult or bland. It can taste like fun and tasty too, something you actually look forward to. It can be a way of showing love to yourself and to the people around you. That's what broccoli can represent. The idea that healthy choices can be delicious, exciting, and meaningful. That food can have stories that span thousands of years. That something as simple as a vegetable can bring people together, whether that's farmers standing up for their livelihood or families cooking dinner together. So here's your challenge this month. Make something with broccoli. It doesn't have to be complicated or Instagram perfect. It could be roasted broccoli with dinner tonight. It could be raw broccoli with your favorite dip after school. Maybe you try those cheesy broccoli power bites from the NutraPlanet Gazette. The point isn't perfection. The point is showing up for yourself, choosing food that makes you stronger, taking one small action that says, I care about how I feel. And if you want to take it a step further, share it. Make broccoli with your family. Bring some to a friend. Take a picture and show someone what you created. Because when you share good food, you're not just sharing nutrients. You're sharing energy, kindness, and the message that taking care of ourselves matters. That's the real superpower behind every bite. Not just what broccoli does for your body, but what choosing it says about how you see yourself. Stay curious, stay kind, and keep your plate powered up. I'm Jasmine, signing off from the NutraPlanet News, where every bite tells a story. See you next time!
White snow falling, city lights calling. This season got me feeling some type of way. Yeah. Catching winter waves, sliding down the hill. Hot chocolate days, giving me the chills. I stay downtown, city that looking like a crown. This season got me floating, can't keep my feet on the ground. Winter got me glowing, yeah. This feeling keep growing, yeah. First snowfall got the city moving different. Kids making